I don't think she's the best player in the league. But she's
Okay.
not far from the conversation in only her second year. Now, I'm going to give you some numbers here. The problem with some of these numbers is Caitlin, she's missed some games. She doesn't technically qualify. But if you want to look at points per game, Nafisa Collier, 24.4 points per game, clearly having an MVP season, shooting over 50%. If Caitlin had enough games to qualify, she'd be in second, averaging 21 a game. Kelsey Plum at 20.9, Asia Wilson 20.9, Sabrina 20.8. Now you look at the assist numbers. The assist numbers are, they're pretty crazy for Caitlin. She does have a lot of turnovers, which has kind of been her problem. Though I think the turnovers are down this year compared to last year by a decent amount. Last year, actually, not even much. Last year she was at 5.6 turnovers. This year she's at 5.2. But she also is averaging 8.7 assists per game, which see how do I do this? If I look at the, do I have to? Okay, whatever. I'll find the assist numbers. Like it's only sorting by points. I know you like this stats thing for WNBA, but it's kind of hard to mess around with here. Okay, I found it. Okay, so assists per game, Caitlin would be second behind Alyssa Thomas. Actually, she is second, so they do count her assists here. So she'd be second behind Alyssa Thomas at 9.3 to Caitlin's 8.7. And, Caitlin is not the best defender. You often see her cheating and giving up open corners, but she does grab a few steals here and there. And then if you actually want to look at, I guess, do they have 3-point? I guess they don't have it separated to kind of count 3-pointers, but she's averaging 3.7 3-pointers made per game and shooting 9.2. And Ryan Howard, from what I can tell, is the only one who shoots more than her. Marina Mabry is at 8, so a little bit lower. So she's shooting them at the highest percentage for as much as she shoots as well. Okay, so I just gave you the numbers. I think you're going to say Nafisa is number 1 or number 2. I think you're going to say Asia is right there. After that conversation, where do we start adding Caitlin to best player in the WNBA?
I thought she was probably gonna be number 5 this year, like top 5. I think Alyssa Thomas is still better, just in terms of like impact. And then I think you have to start tossing around like, is it Brianna? Is it Sabrina? Is it some of those players? And then like Alicia Gray is having a great season. I don't know. I think she's right in there though. Like right after those 4, I wouldn't have a problem with her by the end of the season claiming that 5th spot.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. You know who this would be a great question for Sabrina Merchant or Ben Pickman. I wonder where they would rank her because they're watching everybody. Like they're not just watching Valkyries and then the teams playing against the Valkyries. But it's not it's not a wild thought to think that Caitlin is right there with the heavyweights in only her second season, because just look at, and we can talk about this now, they're going to be in the Commissioner's Cup final against Minnesota, and we think that Minnesota is probably the best team and New York is probably the second best team, but they beat New York, to get to the Commissioner's Cup. And like, that's a pretty big deal, beating New York like that and getting into that championship game. And she did it in only, what was it, her first game back from injury. So that, I thought that was really, that showed not only kind of like how many points she could score, or whatever. But it did show her value to the league, her value to her team, being able to do that. So, yeah, I think we're well on our way. And also Commissioner's Cup, they got to be jazzed to have Caitlin and the Fever in the final game against Minnesota. Now, I kind of think that Minnesota might wax them, but it's really good for them to be in that game. But imagine if
Sure.
Indiana would win the Commissioner's Cup, like that would be kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think what do we say? I think I said on a podcast before that last year. Okay, how does 2020? Okay, so in 2023, the Liberty won the Commissioner's Cup. They were in the finals.
Mhm.
First, they made it a first time appearance in the finals since I don't know when. In 2024, the Minnesota Lynx won the Commissioner's Cup, and they made a finals appearance since the Maya Moore days. If Indiana wins the Commissioner's Cup, like they, maybe that trend continues and they are in the finals. Like I think, they're just so lucky with the how the lotto works, but just in prime position and pole position to like I think they did the right things this offseason where, they didn't go crazy in the offseason by any means of acquiring talent just for this one season and put the rest of their future in jeopardy. They got DeWanna Bonner, they got Sydney Colson, they got Sophie Cunningham, like just like good players, Natasha Howard, like they got good players and Caitlin Leap, Aaliyah Leap. They figured out Lexi Hole by the end of last year was like a good person to have in their like starting five. Like uh I think they're in kind of a prime position to not only make a run next this year in the finals, but also have continued success because you have Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark on rookie scale
On
contracts still,
rookie
where the
deals.
rest of the league has everyone on unrestricted free agents besides, of course, like Dallas with Paige or just any good rookie still on a rookie scale contract. So that, you have teams like Phoenix who kind of just put everything in for 1 year to see if they can, make a run at it. And we'll see what
And
happens in
they're
the
and
offseason.
they're a good team for sure.
They are a very good team. Um, I think Indiana, man, they're going to be good for a long time. And I know this podcast is going to come out after the game, or people are going to hear it after the game. I'm predicting the Valkyries to probably lose by a good decent chunk, considering who we're missing and considering that Caitlin's back and going.